welcome you from Atlanta, Georgia. The road trip continues at Turner Field. Tonight starts a 4-game series, the Brewers and the Braves. And this series is presented by Chevrolet. Carlos Gomez back in there, had a great series against the Tigers. Brewers coming off a series win against Detroit. Gomez with 6 hits in that frame, ready to match up against Freddie Freeman, a 2-time National League All-Star, and the Atlanta Braves, who come in a game under 500. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Turner Field in Atlanta. Great to have you with us. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Brian Anderson. We'll hear from Sophia Minnaert in just a moment. Well, the Braves have totally transformed their organization. They're kind of looking ahead to a couple of years down the road, but here they sit. 1 game under 500, and they have their mainstays, Freddie Freeman and Andrelton Simmons.
Yeah, they shuffled the deck quite a bit over the offseason. No Upton brothers. They got rid of Craig Kimbrell, their closer, but 2 guys are going to be around here for a long time. You figured Andrelton Simmons, one of the most athletic players in all of baseball. He can do a lot of things both at the plate and on the field. And Freddie Freeman, a guy you can count on. He played 162 games. He was in there every day. Big-time run producer. A couple of years ago, hit over 300, over 100 RBIs. He's swinging about well. It's not a team that hits a lot of home runs, but they're very aggressive. They make a lot of contact. Here's some of the names that you're going to see here in this series. Nick Markakis coming over from the American League. Hadn't shown any power, but certainly a guy that can make an impact. And Jace Peterson, a guy from San Diego that they're high on. Young kid, very athletic. Cameron made him. Jason Grilli, a guy that the Brewers remember from the Pittsburgh Pirates. So a much different look. They're off to a decent start.
Yeah, these don't look like the old Braves. Freddie Gonzalez still the skipper. Brewers and the Braves will start a 4-game series tonight. Ryan Braun is red hot once again. Homered again last night. He has 4 homers on the road trip. Sophia will have more on Braun when we continue from Turner Field.
Brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Ryan Braun and the Brewers getting ready to start a 4-game series against the Atlanta Braves here at Turner Field in Atlanta. Braun looking to continue swinging a hot bat. Only Bryce Harper has been better in baseball than Braun at the plate. Braun has 9 home runs and 24 RBIs since April 28th. It was a slow start to the season for Braun, but he is our T-Mobile game changer for what he has been able to do over his last 21 games. The .293 average, the 9 home runs, 24 RBIs. He has scored 19 runs, and the slugging percentage way up to .693. Braun said that he is benefiting at the plate from finally being healthy and some adjustments that he's made here lately.
Yeah, I think there's some bad habits, some poor muscle memory I'd built up over the last couple of years dealing with the thumb thing. So, slowly but surely I'm headed in the right direction, trending in the right direction, getting my swing back to where I need it to be. And more than anything, I just have a little bit more luck than I had early in the year. So I hit a lot of balls hard. I've been impossibly and unsustainably unlucky. So if I continue to hit the ball hard, the average will continue to climb for me.
Braun hit his 10th home run of the season last night and now is tied for 3rd all-time in Brewers history with Paul Molitor. But tonight, Matt Garza and Julio Teheran will face off on the mound in the series opener. We've got first pitch coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
It is game time in Atlanta. Great to have you with us tonight. The old Fulton County Stadium off in the distance, downtown Atlanta. Then here we are at Turner Field. What a night for baseball here in Dixie. 73 degrees, just a few clouds in the sky. Looks like we're set up for good weather this entire weekend. 4-game series, Brewers Braves. It's the last leg of this 3-city, 10-game road trip for Milwaukee. And so far, the Brewers are at 500. That is the record for Craig Counsell as well in his managerial takeover. 8-8 is his record. 4 to play here on the road before the Brewers finally return home to match up against the world champs, the San Francisco Giants, who, by the way, swept the Dodgers today. Craig Counsell putting this lineup together back in a National League setting, so his pitcher is batting 8th. He's got Carlos Gomez, Gerardo Parra, and Ryan Braun at the top. In the middle of the order, Adam Lind, Aramis Ramirez, and Elian Herrera, the switch hitter. Juan Centeno gets a call behind the plate tonight with Matt Garza batting 8th. And batting 9th is the shortstop, Luis Sardinas, making his 6th consecutive start since his call-up in New York. And that's a batting order rock that will face Julio Teheran, who has been a little bit inconsistent for the Braves' liking this year, making his 9th start of the season tonight.
Yeah, 3rd full season for Teheran with the Braves, 5th overall. And he's 6'2", 200 pounds, 24 years old. He's had 3 rough starts this year. Other than that, he's been pretty good in those 3 starts. 15 earned runs and 14 in the 3rd innings. Last time out, pretty good against the Marlins, 5 2/3. You have 2 runs, only 1 earned. And he has made a commitment to his fastball a little bit more as of late. Last time the Brewers faced him, a lot of breaking pitches. That was last year.
Teheran in those 3 starts, a sparkling ERA against Milwaukee. And he'll get the call against Matt Garza here tonight. How about defensively for the Atlanta Braves? It's courtesy of Menards. A lot of new faces out there, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Gomes, Maven, and Markakis, all newcomers to the Atlanta Braves. Callaspo, Andrelton Simmons, one of the best in all of baseball, has only committed 1 error this year. You got Peterson at second. You got Freddie Freeman and Christian Betancourt behind home plate, hanging the signs for Teheran tonight.
4-man umpiring crew in place. Home plate umpire is Chris Siegel. Chad Fairchild, Jim Joyce, Marvin Hudson on the bases. There's Jim Joyce, the crew chief. Marvin Hudson in the news yesterday, ejecting Bryce Harper. Kind of news umpires don't like to be a part of, but this crew has made its way here to Atlanta. The Braves are coming off a split in a 2-game series with the Tampa Bay Rays. That was a 2-game series that was here at Turner Field. That was after they had a sweep of the Marlins. And Atlanta Rock suddenly has won 4 out of 5. They are 9-8 in the month of May, and a team that, with new general manager John Hart, says we're going to be in a rebuilding mode, maybe looking ahead at 2016 as a year we want to contend. That's kind of been the public cry, but they're right there. They're a game under 500.
Well, most of the lineup tonight is not rebuilding mode. I mean, you got some veterans on that field, so a good combination of youth.
Carlos Gomez swinging away at the first pitch, and that will be run down in left field by Gomes. 1 pitch, 1 out. That had a funny sound off the bat. We may have caught a little bit of a jet stream out there in left.
Yeah, wind is blowing strong from the left field foul pole out to right field, so that might have kept that ball in play. It looked like initially it might have hooked foul, but it stayed in there. You can see the way the wind's blowing. Nice night here, though, in Atlanta.
Beautiful. Yeah, we've been here in the past. You get in the middle of the summer in Atlanta, and it can be a scorcher. But on nights like this, you love being in the South. It's beautiful here. And with the wind blowing, this becomes very much a pitcher-friendly ballpark tonight. Brewers started this road trip at Citi Field in New York, the home of the Mets. And then coming off a series win in Detroit, and now here in Atlanta. All 3 venues, great places to pitch.
Yeah, but still the Brewers are hitting the home runs. I mean, they've been relying heavily on the home run on this trip. Home runs have been a part of all 3 of their wins on this road trip so far.
Gerardo Parra back in the 2 spot, little slow roller, and that is just foul. Teheran was trying to get there to get an easy out, but a foul ball will put the count at a ball and 2 strikes.
Teheran, not an overpowering pitcher. I mean, he'll get it up there at about 93. He's got some movement on it. He's been a little bit breaking pitch happy early in the season anyway, but the Braves have encouraged him to throw more fastballs, and the results have been pretty good for him.
Brewers are going to see Alex Wood tomorrow, a starter, the left-hander. Shelby Miller, who almost threw a no-hitter his last time out, came with an out of a no-hitter. He'll be on the mound Saturday, and then Mike Fultonevich will get the ball. It'll be our first look at him on Sunday. The Brewers will have Garza tonight, Willie Peralta tomorrow, Friday, and then Fires and Nelson will get the ball for the weekend. No Kyle Loesch in this series. He pitched last night in Detroit. And a swing and a miss. Little off speed from Teheran gets Parra. 2 up and 2 down.
Yep, it's fastball, changeup, slider for Julio Teheran. He'll throw a curveball once in a while. Here's the slider, a little bit flat, but effective. Just enough off the velocity to get Parra out in front.
So 2 quick outs. Here comes Ryan Braun. Braun is going along very well right now. He has 10 homers for the season. Has driven in 28 for the year. A lot of that damage coming in the month of May. 6 of the 10 homers for Braun have come this month. 18 of his 28 RBIs in May. He's got a .380 on base percentage in the 19 games in May. 4 home runs on the road trip. 2 quick strikes on him from Tehran.
And driving the ball to the opposite field very effectively, and if he's able to get one up in the air tonight, that wind that's blown out could help him. Only 2 of his 10 home runs have come to left field.
0-2 pitch. And down he goes. Braun strikes out on 3 pitches. And a 9-pitch first inning for Tehran gets us started tonight in Atlanta. Brewers go in order with a couple of strikeouts in the top of the first, and now Freddie Gonzalez and the Braves ready to roll this lineup out against Matt Garza, and a lot of new faces here. They got Chase Peterson leading off, coming from the San Diego Padres. Cameron Maven coming from the Padres as well. He hits second, and then Freddie Freeman, all-star first baseman. Middle of the order is Markakis, Johnny Gomes, Alberto Callaspo, and then the bottom 3, Andrelton Simmons, one of the great shortstops in the game. Christian Bethancourt will catch, and Julio Tehran rounds out Freddie Gonzalez's lineup. And there is Matt Garza's start, number 9 tonight.
And you hope he forgets very quickly about that start against the Mets. Gave up 10 earned runs in 3 1/3 innings, and 9 of those runs came in the 4th. But before that, had 4 quality starts, was throwing the baseball pretty well, looking for his first career win against the Atlanta Braves in 5 starts.
He called his last start one of the worst of his career. Statistically, that holds true. 10 earned runs, 3 walks, had just a couple of strikeouts, and could not get through the 4th inning. And he is very anxious to get back on the mound and search for a little redemption here tonight. Into center field. Yeah, you can tell the wind is really holding him up that direction. Chase Peterson is out, and 1 away.
Well, let's take a look at the Menards Brewers defense tonight. You got Parra, Gomez, and Braun in the outfield. Aramis Ramirez back at third base. Sardinius, who's been very good at shortstop. He's swinging the bat well. You got Herrera at second, Adam Lind at first, and Juan Centeno getting a start behind home plate. His 4th start for the Brewers.
Martin Maldonado and Juan Centeno, the catching core currently for the Brewers, with Jonathan Lucroy on the disabled list. Lucroy out with a broken toe. He and Gene Segura, the starting shortstop, on the DL as well. Segura expected back before Lucroy. Probably see Segura on the next homestand. Cameron Maben at the plate, fouls it back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, Segura is going to come back right away, and you also have Jonathan Lucroy, who's on the road to recovery sometime on the next road trip.
Now, Lucroy's been hitting and trying to get himself back into baseball shape, doing all he can. He's been running a little bit as well. Talked to the athletic trainers today, and they are very pleased with the way Lucroy's coming along. Next step is when the Brewers return home to Milwaukee Monday, they will take x-rays and then reevaluate the healing process of that broken toe. That's a tough injury, though, for a catcher.
Yeah, and put a lot of pressure on those toes, the feet for the catcher. And yeah, hopefully Jonathan's going to be back soon. He's walking around okay, but that's just half of it.
3-1 pitch to Maben, and it's outside, ball 4. Cameron Maben draws the 1-out walk. Garza will pitch from the stretch early. Again, let's get you that Brewers defense courtesy of Menards, a familiar outfield with Parra getting the start for Davis tonight. You got Sardinas making his 6th consecutive start at short, and Juan Centeno, who showed very well this spring. He's not a big guy, but he is an excellent defensive catcher. He was playing every day at AAA. When Lucroy got hurt, he was the first call-up behind the plate. Played for the Mets the last 2 seasons.
It just seems like Martin Maldonado showing signs of maybe some fatigue, getting tired. The throws have been a little bit off and is having a difficult time getting hits. So give him a day off today. Probably be back in the lineup tomorrow.
Maybe a stolen base threat at first. And Freeman fouls it back. Rock touched on it in the open, but with all of the changes here in Atlanta, there is no doubt who the faces of their franchise are moving forward and who are their franchise anchors. Freddie Freeman is one of them, and Andrelton Simmons. Long-term contracts. And as they rebuild this organization, they're the guys they're looking at. Maben takes off. The throw is late. Pitch was called a strike. Pretty good throw by Centeno, but Maben got a good jump, and he swipes second base, his 5th steal of the year.
They stole that one on Garza. I mean, Centeno couldn't get it down there any better than that. Watch how quickly he gets rid of it. And right on the money. Maben able to steal the base. You know, Braves don't steal many bases. They pick their spots, but they are aggressive on the bases, taking extra bases from time to time.
5 stolen bases leads the Braves. Maben with his 5th. Jace Peterson has 4. Much different looking lineup, and statistically that is showing up as well. They don't strike out as much as they did last year. I mean, just removing the Upton brothers from the lineup will improve the strikeout story.
And the offense is pretty well spread out, as you can see in that graphic. It's not just one guy doing the damage. They don't score a lot of runs, but hey, they're a game under 500. Not too bad. Not bad for a start.
Yeah, playing pretty well right now after they swept the Marlins. That series that the Braves had against Miami, that was the series that cost Mike Redmond his job ultimately. Dan Jennings taking over the Marlins. The general manager announcing himself as the skipper, and the Marlins have yet to win since Jennings took over.
That lost today.
But the nail in the coffin was that the Shelby Miller near no-hitter against the Marlins this past weekend that cost the manager his job. Freeman stays alive. The count remains at 2-2.
You talk about that start for Garza last time out. He just could not find the corners and get the baseball down. Everything up, out over the plate, and the New York Mets hit some rockets off of him.
Well, you give Garza credit, though. He's a pro. He stood in there and answered all the questions, and he knew it was coming. You have a start like that. That's the other side of the starting pitcher world. As great as it feels to have a good start and be able to sit on that, contribute to a team victory for 5 days, it is tough to wear that until your next opportunity. Freeman just keeps playing pepper with Matt Garza to stay alive.
Man, that's an example of how the Atlanta Braves approach their at-bats. I mean, not trying to pull it. That was a good pitch by Garza. Two-seamer going away from Freeman, just able to get a bat on it instead of trying to pull it. They make you work, that's for sure.
Freddie Freeman, one of 4 players in the major leagues last year to play all 162 games of the schedule.
That's amazing, isn't it, these days? No days off.
Hunter Pence, Evan Longoria, Alcides Escobar, and Freddie Freeman, the 4 that played every day last year. And a swing and a miss. Garza goes with the curveball to strike him out for the second out of the inning, his first K.
And he gave him everything he had, and finally able to break out the curveball. First curveball he threw 2 minutes at bat. That was a 10-pitch at bat won by Garza with a good curveball. Curveball down in the zone. That was a big breaker.
It's always a question with Garza right out of the gates. What breaking ball will be his effective breaking ball? He can sometimes go with a slider, sometimes a curveball, and if he has them both, that's when you see the no-hit stuff. There's a shot, base hit. On the first pitch, Markakis to center field will play to run. And the Braves strike first here tonight. Nick Markakis wasting no time, delivering an RBI single.
Yep, jumping on that first pitch fastball. Check it out. Look at the location of it. Right down the middle of the plate. And Markakis not trying to pull it. Shoots it right back through the middle. Check out the reaction of Sardini a little bit late. He was jockeying back. He was trying to hold Cameron Maben close. And by the time he got over there and then shot back up the middle, too late to knock it down.
And a first inning run for Atlanta. 2-out RBI from Markakis, one of the newcomers after a terrific run as a Baltimore Oriole. Here's Johnny Gomes now. The Braves have 2 players on the disabled list currently, 2 of their major players, position players, Chris Johnson and Kelly Johnson. Chris Johnson on the DL with a fractured hand. They're hoping to get him back next week. Kelly Johnson is out with an oblique injury, and he might require a little more time. So you're starting third baseman, and Kelly Johnson, a guy who can play all around the infield, mostly second base. Slider misses, and a count of 2-1 to Gomes.
Yeah, Kelly Johnson can hit some home runs, but they like this Peterson kid at second base. It'll be interesting to see what they do.
And he's held up well in the big leagues, Jace Peterson. Coming to the Braves from the Padres. There's a called strike. Jace Peterson came in the Justin Upton deal. Maben and company came in the Melvin Upton deal, formerly known as BJ. Don't call him BJ, though.
I called him Marvin. I apologize. On the pregame show.
But you didn't call him BJ.
Right. I didn't
really
call
all
him that. Yeah, he doesn't want to be called that. So.
Well, we do have a Marvin in the building. We have Marvin Hudson, the third base umpire.
Right. That's what threw me off.
It's an honest mistake. Two and two to Johnny Gomes. And a little half swing. Did he go? He did not. Checks his swing, says Chad Fairchild, the first base umpire. Garza has been in some deep counts already. His 5th batter of the inning. He's been in 3 3-ball counts. Full count with Markakis at first. He'll be running, takes off. Gomes pops it foul and out of play.
Trying to work Gomes inside the best he can. He got a called strike for strike 2 early in that count. And ate him up on the inside part of the plate right there.
What team do you connect Johnny Gomes with? If you see the name, what uniform pops in your mind with him? He's
Tampa.
Bounced around a lot.
Tampa
Bay Rays. That's where he started, and he spent his first 6 years. In the air, in the infield. Herrera will call it, and he's got it under wobbly knees to end the inning. Atlanta scores. Markakis with an RBI single with 2 outs. We head to the second. Braves have the lead 1-0 on a Markakis single to our 2-out RBI hit. And Adam Lind ready to lead the way for the Brewers. We go to the second inning. Check the Powerball home run leaderboard. Braun has 10 after his clout last night. Adam Lind with 7 on the season. Ramirez 5. And the Brewers starting to find their home run stroke here lately. Lind's been a big part of that. The Brewers hit just 9 home runs over their first 20 games. That took them through the 27th of April. But since that time, the Brewers have hit 33 homers, covering the last 21 games. The only team that's hit more homers in that stretch, the Houston Astros. Astros have hit 36 in that 21-game stretch, and the Brewers with 33.
And the Brewers now in 4th place in the National League in long balls with 42 overall. There's a point in the beginning of the season where you wonder if they're ever going to hit home runs again, but they're starting again. And it's usually where they put runs up on the board.
No, it's a roster constructed to hit home runs. These are players that throughout their career have showed big power. Lind into left field. That's got some slice on it, and Gomes will run it down at the track. That ball had a little more carry than I thought.
It did.
And Lind retired, but he sent it to the warning track in left field. It's a tricky night for the winds, and hard to know how the ball travels in the particular quadrants of the park.
Yeah, it's blowing strong out toward right, but you knew it wasn't going to go foul, that fly ball, because of the wind, but looked like that ball carried better than anybody had thought.
Here's Aramis Ramirez and a hack at the first pitch. We were standing down at the batting cage during BP, and as the flag's blowing in center field, you see it blowing towards right. I felt the wind on my right shoulder in batting practice, like coming through the stadium and whipping through the stadium. On the ground, bobbled. Callaspo recovers. Plenty of time with Ramirez running, and 2 away.
Hey, make sure you're at Miller Park next Saturday, May 30th. The Brewers battle the Arizona Diamondbacks in the first ever Star Wars night presented by Kohl's. The night will feature a number of Star Wars characters, photo opportunities, special in-game features, and more. For tickets, visit Brewers.com today.
It's got our producer Brad Weimer all whipped up in a froth. He's a big Star Wars.
Is he still with us?
He is
on paternity
his
leave,
new baby.
Right?
Yes.
Paternity leave.
Baby James.
Right. Okay. Haven't heard from him. Just wondering.
Yeah, we're kind of out of sight for him, aren't we? Brett Reeland producing this road trip. Mark Vittorio, our director, and Brian Mikologic in there doing whatever he does. Crushing some leftover Halloween candy, I'm sure. Herrera with 2 outs. The switch hitter getting the call at second base tonight. Craig Counsell saying it's all about matchups with his middle infielders. That goes for Sardinhas as well. So Hector Gomez, Sardinhas, Elian Herrera. Just depends on who they feel can have the most success. And with Tehran being a pitcher who uses a lot of sliders, Counsell wanting to get the 2 switch hitters in there. That's a slider, and that's a strikeout. A 3-up, 3-down inning for Tehran. He's retired 6 in a row with 3 Ks to get the night underway.
Went to nothing here in the second, and Matt Garza, after giving up a career-high 10 runs in his last outing over 3 1/3 innings in New York, he had the perfect response and said, look, I did not get the job done, but it's one to flush away. And he said it's all about coming back. He said it's always a battle, and when you get knocked down, it's all about how you respond. And Craig Counsell agreed with that response, that he was just one bad inning, one that got away from him. He said he's absolutely right. It's one you just flush away, a brand new start. And one thing that you hear from Counsell a lot is about turning the page, good or bad. You turn the page and you move on. He said there was nothing mechanically that Garza needed to adjust from that last start. He said bottom line, it just comes down to pitch execution, and when you have an opportunity to execute those knockout pitches, you have to do it.
Yeah, and Garza knows full well Counsell is he could be a professional psychologist. No
you have to be in that job, right?
And he was that way as a player. He was kind of the sounding board when he was a player, especially later in his career. As Garza starts this inning, falling behind Callaspo. I like what Counsell had to say, though, not just about Garza, but the rest of the team as well. We had a chat with him earlier today. We'll have an interview with him tomorrow on Brewers Live. We'll sit down one-on-one with Craig Counsell. But, the thing he talks about is every player in here, and every player comes through any kind of big league circle, how you are received by your teammates, the respect level, is one of the most important things you can tap into. As Callaspo grounds out, and no player wants to feel like he's letting his teammates down. And so Counsell has a pretty good sense about him when a player is maybe having a little bit of that sense. And he went straight to Garza after his start, said, look, big boy, we need you. You're a big part of what we're trying to do here. So shake it off and let's go get him next time out.
Man, you got to know when to grab a guy, by the shirt and pump him up a little bit. And the other side of that, there's some guys, and sometimes just gotta, as you mentioned, just kind of say that's okay. We'll get him next time. And Garza is a veteran. This is one of the reasons the Brewers picked him up. He's going to have a bad outing. He's going to come right back.
Here's Andrelton Simmons.
One thing that we have noticed about Craig Counsell, though, not afraid to tell a player what he thinks he needs to do to be better. I mean, he is a guy that is very frank with his players, gives them ideas, particularly a lot of these young guys, what it takes to stay in the big leagues.
Especially the group of middle infielders the Brewers have. Counsell, more than anybody, knows how important anchoring down the middle of the infield is. The shortstop position primarily, but also the second baseman. And Counsell, of course, was a shortstop, played all infield positions, but he was an excellent shortstop and a guy that you could rely on in any scenario, even late in his career.
And the importance of details. I mean, the little things that make such a big difference. And that's the kind of player he was. He wasn't blessed with an enormous amount of talent, but he had to make the most of it, do the right things, play the game the correct way. And Brewers have a number of players that could fit that description. A lot of these young infielders are going to have to play the game the right way, learn how to play the game the right way.
The 22-year-old Sardinius has been under the tutelage of Craig Counsell in his time in the big leagues. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Simmons. And that is a called strike 3. Simmons is gone.
A good slider right there. I mean, he wasn't able to throw many of those in his last start. The sliders were down the middle, up in the zone. The fastballs were getting too much of the white of the plate. There's a dandy right there. Look at the way Centeno catches it right on the corner. Holds it there nicely for Chris Siegel.
Right on the black, according to Fox Tracks.
And Centeno frames it nicely.
So 2 up, 2 down. Christian Bethancourt, the Atlanta catcher, has had a rough go at the plate. Big bouncer. Sardinius, wow, what a pick right there on a tough hop. And he takes care of Bethancourt to end the inning. Beautiful play by Sardinius. A little Olay action. 3 up, 3 down for Garza. We go to the 3rd. Shortstop position from Luis Sardinius to end the inning last inning, showing some good hands. That's our Columbia St. Mary's worth another look.
Yeah, remember last night he laid back on one just like that and wasn't able to get a base runner. Guy beat it at first base, but you see, he started to lay back on it. Then he realized, I better get on that baseball, come in. He caught a tricky hop, but able to make the play with those nice soft hands. He looks good. The more you see him, the better you like him.
Yeah, the more comfortable he's getting at the big league level. Got a little time with the Rangers last year at the major leagues. Played a lot of second base and third base, with Elvis Andrus playing most of the games at short. Fun guy to keep an eye on. The Brewers have another talented shortstop of the minor leagues, Orlando Arcia, who you are seeing a lot of in our minor league report. He is lighting it up in Double-A Biloxi right now. 1-0 Braves. Markakis with the RBI in the first. And here we go to the third with Centeno leading the way. If you count the switch hitters tonight, Counsell has loaded up his lineup with 5 left-handed bats. 3 lefties and the 2 switch hitters.
And that's because Tehran, has not had a lot of success against left-handed batters this year. Coming in a .400 batting average against him. That's pretty high. Left-handed hitters came in at 26 for 65, right at .400.
And he's facing a lot more left-handed batters lately because of those numbers. Left-handers have an OPS of 500, or an on-base percentage, I should say, of 500 against Tehran as well. So it's not just the hits, but the walks. Centeno out to Maben for the first out. 7 in a row retired by Julio Tehran.
Yeah, good wood that time by Centeno, and Maben barely had to move. Hardest hit ball by a Brewer hitter so far tonight.
Got a few finals in from the big leagues today. The Giants swept the Dodgers 4-0. Madison Bumgarner beat Clayton Kershaw today as Garza swings and misses. So how about that? The Giants sweeping LA and inching closer in the standings to the Dodgers after their slow start. Bumgarner also hit a home run off Kershaw today. That guy's something else.
Yeah, he's something is right.
Rockies top the Phillies. Other finals, the Mets shut out the Cardinals. Jacob deGrom was the headliner in that game. deGrom went 8 shutout innings, Rock, 1 hit, struck out 11.
Sounded familiar.
Brewers ran into a very tough Jacob deGrom in New York earlier on this road trip.
Yeah, deGrom against the Brewers, 6 innings, 1 run.
The rookie of the year last year in the National League, deGrom. The other final, the Tigers played an afternoon game against the Astros and won. They beat Houston in 11 innings, 6-5. Garza chases, down he goes. Now secured at first. 8 straight for Tehran with 4 strikeouts. Well, don't forget, Fox Sports Live coming your way tonight, 10 p.m. They'll get you caught up on a full night of NHL and NBA playoff action, plus highlights of tonight's MLB games. You can see Fox Sports Live tonight, 10 p.m. on Fox Sports 1, or see the simulcast right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Here's Sardinas taking a strike. Speaking of the NBA, our old buddy Brent Valenti is in the house tonight. He is the producer of the Cleveland Cavaliers and a former Brewers Bucks producer. Good to see Brent.
I kind of miss those 8 a.m. calls from Brent on a Sunday morning.
Those hour-long 8 a.m. phone calls. Very thorough producer.
Morning,
Brent.
Rock. What do you want to talk about today? Are you kidding me? It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, he's a good man, and he's doing a great work with the Cavaliers. Sardinas into left center. Tehran is chewing up the Brewers. 9 up, 9 down, 4 strikeouts. We head to the bottom of the third inning, 1-0 Atlanta. Single in the first inning, and Tehran is perfect through the first three. Our Carsoup.com trivia question: who are the three players in Major League Baseball history to play for both the Braves of Milwaukee and the Brewers of Milwaukee? That's one of them right there for sure. Garza back to work as we head to the bottom of the third. The pitcher Tehran will lead off. Garza issued a walk and a hit in the first inning. The walk from Maben ended up with a stolen base from Maben at second, and then he scored on the 2-out single. Slow rollers, Sardinas for the first out. There's a lot of baseball fans in Milwaukee, especially of a certain age, that still resonate with the Milwaukee Braves. Left in the mid-'60s, and world champion Milwaukee Braves, of course. A couple of World Series teams there in the late 50s, and it's always interesting to dial in and see what the current Atlanta Braves are doing.
Those are some good years in baseball, for Milwaukee. Back in those days, and Eddie Matthews, guys like that, right? Johnny Logan.
Well, I miss Johnny Logan. I was just thinking about him, Rock.
Yeah.
We lost Johnny Logan last year. One of the great Braves. You'd see him on all the Gillette commercials. He was kind of their spokesman, the fire pot that he was. He was so much fun to talk to and hear some of those great stories. We miss Johnny. Jace Peterson, a little pop-up, easy as it gets for Sardinas.
Yeah, Johnny be at the ballpark quite a bit, recently up till last year, and always fun to talk to Johnny.
There's some images of the great Johnny Logan. Hey, partner.
You don't mess with Johnny, he'll come after you.
Oh, man, what a tough guy.
Yeah.
I love hearing the Bob Uecker stories about Johnny Logan. He's got plenty of them. What a great talent he was, too. Logan, shortstop, and some of that footage there from the World Series. Little jam shot, long run, Herrera. He's got it, over the shoulder catch. And Garza chews up Atlanta in the third inning. A 6th pitch inning for Matt Garza. Braves go in order. still looking for their first base runner. We'll see Braun in this inning. Top of the order coming up as we go to the fourth. Our DraftKings.com players to watch. Braun is in there, and rightly so. And the Braves closer, Jason Grilli, high ERA but 12 saves. Danny Salazar of the Indians, been racking up a bunch of strikeouts, and we knew we'd get an Upton brother in the broadcast tonight at some point. Justin playing with his brother Melvin in San Diego now, the former Brave. And 11 bombs this year for Justin Upton. Padres are struggling a little bit, however. San Diego made all those changes, bumped up their payroll significantly, bringing in guys like Will Myers and Matt Kemp and the Upton brothers. And San Diego is under 500. They're 20-21. 5 games back of the Dodgers starting play today.
Yeah, Craig Kimbrell with a big earned run average over there.
Yeah, he's like Grilli's. He's racked up some saves, but ERA's over 5.
Right.
Gomez flew out to left in the first inning. He swung at the first pitch. Taking a few here to start the fourth.
You see that arm angle for Tehran, making it tough on right-handed batters. Righty's hitting under 250 against him coming in. You got to concentrate, stay closed, and then he's going to drop a breaking ball on you. Doesn't throw too many back-to-back fastballs, does Julio Tehran.
Little half swing by Gomez. He couldn't check it. And now it's a 2-2 count. Setting up outside Bethancourt, and you knew a slider was coming. This time Gomez lays off. Tehran has a couple of variations of that slider. He'll throw it at different speeds. And it's been a good put-away pitch for him so far tonight. The payoff from Tehran. Missed upstairs with a fastball. Gomez draws the walk, and the first base runner of the night for the Brewers.
That 19th walk issued by Tehran to go along with 42 strikeouts. He's got 4 tonight. Like that 43 punch outs.
Now we'll see if Gomez is on the move at first. Gerardo Parra, been a hot hitter, especially in the month of May. Council trying to load up his lineup with lefties. He's got one swinging the bat well here. Parra on the first pitch. Bouncing ball. Oh, and it's under the glove of Peterson. Gomez never slows down. He's on his way to third. And a miscue by Atlanta has the Brewers threatening in the fourth. First and third with nobody out.
Yeah, I think that it was a foregone conclusion in Peterson's mind that he was going to catch the baseball. What he was wondering, where's he going to go with it? I don't think he really had a play at second base, but thought about the throw before you had it in the glove, and that'll be the first hit for the Brewers, you would think. They might give him an error since the Brewers don't have a hit yet. Well, regardless, the Brewers are in business, and Braun coming up first and third, nobody out.
They are deliberating over that call. They have not posted. Now they just did post a base hit for Parra. So that's a generous call. Parra will take it. First hit of the game for Milwaukee. First and third, nobody out for the red hot Ryan Braun. Braun, a strikeout victim in the first inning. Tehran got ahead of him with a couple of sliders, and then he struck him out with a high fastball. Inside, almost hit him.
You see that fastball by Tehran, only 88. I mean, he threw the ball 4 pitch to Carlos Gomez. It was a fastball at 91. That's the top velocity he's been able to get to tonight. Not a hard throw by any stretch.
Gives you a sense that he doesn't quite trust his fastball, right? The way he overthrows at times.
That's kind of been the concern for the Braves.
Braun in the air, center field, hit right on the barrel. Going back is Maben. The wind pushing it to the wall. plenty deep to score Gomez. Parra trying to go to second. He's out. Wow. Cameron Maybin guns him down at second. Brewers do get a run. Parra thinks he's safe at second. They're going to take a look at here, and counsel may have a review in mind, but what a peg by Cameron Maybin.
Yeah, got rid of it quickly and right on the money. How about that? That's a tremendous play by the Braves center fielder, and the ball clearly beats him. But maybe he does get the hand in there. Let's just see how what the Brewers see there. Are they going to go to the replay, have a review? I think counsel wants to take a look at it. See, does he ever tag him? I'm not sure if he does or not.
Irregardless, the run will count with first and third and nobody out. That would be a much bigger decision had there been one out with that catch in center field. Let's take a look.
What's the right hand? Right hand, does it get in there? Right there. And there's the tag on the arm.
None of the angles we've seen so far would indicate there's enough evidence to overturn it, but Craig Counsell might have seen something else. So the crew chief, Jim Joyce, will join Marvin Hudson, and they will have New York take a look at it. The replay command center in Chelsea, New York.
Yeah, the ball clearly there in time, but the question is, does the tag get made before the hand of Parra gets into second base? This could go either way.
Yeah, that's a close one here. Seems like this year the real close decisions, the ones where you don't have that definitive look, they're going to stick with what they call on the field, and the call on the field was an out. And I'm not sure any of the angles we've seen gives you
Watch Simmons,
decisive look.
The glove right in the middle of the bag, but look at the arms of Parra on either side.
Wow.
I tell you, that could be a safe call. Really could.
Remember when we were in there last year, Rock, they showed us the technology's amazing in the replay center, but what they can do, they can stitch together two different angles. For example, this angle and the last angle, they can stitch together. They connect the timing of it all to see if the hand was in there or not.
He never gets the left hand, and then the right hand gets in there. The question is, was the glove on the hand, on the arm before the hand touches?
Back before replay, that's pretty much an automatic call. The throw beat him out is the call,
right? And
nobody really argued about it. But now that you can break it down frame by frame, the Brewers are hoping that this goes in their favor.
That's a pretty good slide, though, if you think about it, by Parra. He knew he was going to be out if he didn't do something different, which he did. A lot of guys are going to have slide head first and just go for the center of the bag. That's not what happened.
It's a pretty risky challenge by the Brewers here, however. If you miss it, if it's not overturned, you lose it. You lose your challenges. After the seventh inning, the umpires can call for a review on their own, but you can't force them to do so if you lose your challenges. Now, as long as you're asking for review and the calls are overturned, you can continue for the entire game as long as you're right. That's been one of the changes in the rules from last year. It used to be you could only get two max. If you got one right, you'd get another one, but now you can keep going.
If they were subscribing to my minute-and-a-half rule, that would be an out call.
I'm all in favor of your rule.
It's taken a long, long time to determine whether this should be overturned or not. And in my mind, I think there's a lot of folks around baseball that would agree that you get a time limit. They're going to call him out.
Yep, so the decision finally comes down, and after all that, Maybin has an assist, and he cuts down Gerardo Parra. The Brewers lose the challenge, and they are without one for the rest of the game.
That was just a terrific play by Maybin out in center field.
You good with Parra trying to advance?
Absolutely.
On that ball?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it took a perfect throw. I mean, and that's what they got. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to be safe on that.
So the game is tied on the Braun sac fly. And it ends up with 2 outs on the play. cutting down Parra 8-6. 2 outs, bases empty for Adam Lind.
Are you okay with it?
Yeah, I think so. But I'm not a former Major League Baseball player, so
I'm just saying that's a good gamble to
I'm
take.
kind of on the fan side. We're like, oh man, he shouldn't have gone. He got thrown out.
I think it's a good gamble to take. I mean, it took a perfect throw, and that's what they did, and he was out. That happens.
Now, had he made it, I'd have been all for it. Lind with a base hit, slaps one into left field. Just like I'm all for Lind swinging at that last pitch.
Right.
I'm more of a results-oriented analyst.
And I don't think Craig Counsell had a problem with him doing it either. That was a good piece of hitting by Lind right there, whether you thought he should have swung or not.
Yes. It's a great swing and a bad pitch.
Change up going away from, just pokes it into left field. See, now if he's safe out there at second, that's a run.
Right. Then I would have been all for it.
How many times have we said if?
Aramis Ramirez with 2 away. Lind at first. Brewers finally scratch one across here. Tehran had gone through the order 9 up, 9 down. Pop up, foul territory. Very little room over there. And Ramirez will see another one. Aramis grounded out to third in the second inning. Yesterday, Ramirez was 1 for 4. A little agitated at his effort last night. Struck out a couple of times. And he was a touch late on that one. Couldn't get on top of it. In the infield, Simmons will make the catch to end the inning. And the Brewers go down in the 4th, but they score. Get 2 hits and a walk, get 1 in on a Braun sac fly. Great throw from Maven. Game 1 of 4 in Atlanta. The Brewers scoring last inning. Ryan Braun with a sac fly and an RBI, his 29th ribby of the year. Ties it up as we head to the home 4th. Garza back to work after a quick 6-pitch 3rd inning, retiring the side in order. He'll have Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis, and Johnny Gomes to start it for Atlanta. 3, 4, and 5, and Freddie Gonzalez's lineup. And Freeman on the first pitch hammers one to left, long run. Parra is there to make the catch. The Gold Glover twice over. Gerardo Parra runs it down.
He always takes such a good angle of that baseball. Never takes a false step. Not too many banana routes for that guy. No matter where he's playing, left, center, or right. Freddie Freeman puts a charge into this one. He hits it well. And just about midway on that warning track made it look easy.
Ballpark's playing very pitcher friendly tonight. Ryan Braun hit a deep drive into center that might have had a chance to go out on another night, maybe as you get into the summer. And then a couple to the track in left field tonight as well. Markakis swung at the first pitch his last time up, delivered a 2-out RBI single. A very underrated talent here, Nick Markakis.
He's still looking for his first home run. He's got that average over 300.
Markakis, very popular player with the Baltimore Orioles, has one of the strongest throwing arms in the big leagues. A former first rounder and lived up to that expectation. He was drafted in 03, was in the big leagues in 06. He's been a durable guy, regularly playing in 160 games or more, and he draws the walk. So first time up, he swings at the first pitch. This time he's patient and he walks.
Hey, next week it's the Brewers and Giants at Miller Park. He actually gets underway with a Memorial Day matchup on Monday before continuing with a 7 p.m. start on Tuesday and wrapping up with another Kids and Seniors discount day on Wednesday afternoon. Visit Brewers.com to reserve your spot today. Day game on Monday, remember that.
Yes, sir. Don't be showing up late, you're saying.
Yep, day game on Sunday here in Atlanta. Fly home. And day game at Miller Park.
World champion Giants coming to town. Playing good baseball. Well, if my math is correct, as Gomes takes strike 2, Madison Bumgarner is going to pitch the opener of that series on the Memorial Day, right?
Let me do a little
Maybe
cipher
Tuesday.
here.
Get your gazintas in order and let me know.
Well, today's Thursday, right?
Right. He'll pitch Tuesday.
Tuesday.
There
yeah.
you go.
Yep, Tuesday.
There's a called strike 3. Gomes is rung up. Garza makes quick work of the Braves left fielder. Picks up his 3rd strikeout. The last 2 have been the backwards K variety.
Yeah, check out where Centeno is setting up and barely has to move the glove. I mean, that's about as good as it gets. Down and away. Able to get him.
So Garza with 2 outs. Markakis over at first. And the switch hitter Alberto Callaspo at the plate. Misses with the curveball. Another newcomer to Atlanta, Alberto Callaspo. Spent some time with the Royals and the Angels.
Terrific fielder over at third base. I mean, he can pick it over there, having a rough time at the plate.
Braves are his 5th team. Came up with the Diamondbacks and then had a couple of years in Kansas City. Longest tenure was with the Angels, 4 years with the LA Angels of Anaheim. That ball's hit sharply center field. Gomez playing deep right there to make the play, and the inning is over. So Garza puts up another 0. We are tied at 1, 4 in the books at Turner Field, Atlanta.
Then on Monday, June 29th, Davey Nelson will again host his celebrity golf tournament in support of Brewers Community Foundation and Open Arms Home for Children, an organization located in South Africa which serves as an orphanage for children struggling to survive. Open Arms provides shelter, clothing, and basic health care for children, assuring them a better chance at life and the future. You can join Davey and friends at Whistling Straits for a fantastic day of golf and fundraising. You can register at www.brewers.com/Davey. And a quick update on some injured Brewers on the disabled list. Craig Counsell saying that the homestand will be a big one for both Gene Segura and Jonathan Lucroy. Gene Segura will be reevaluated by team doctor, Dr. Roche. He said everything looks good, but it just depends how he will feel when he is swinging. He said there is still a decision to be made as to whether he will go out on a minor league rehab assignment. That decision will likely also come on Monday after the evaluation. But Jonathan Lucroy, same for him. He said he'll be reevaluated when they get back home to Milwaukee. And again, both of them are dealing with broken bones. So it's about crossing days off the calendar and being able to play without pain.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Segura with the broken pinky finger on his right hand, his throwing hand. And Lucroy with the broken toe. There's a strike to Elian Herrera. We are underway here in the 5th inning. It's been a well-pitched ball game thus far, tightly contested. Game's tied at 1. The Brewers have 2 hits, both of them coming last inning. And the Braves with just 1 hit, an RBI single by Markakis. That's been it against Garza thus far. Missed it down and in. 3-1 to count. Tehran thus far has 4 strikeouts and a walk and 2 hits last inning, but the Brewers scored just 1 run. Sac fly from Braun. Nice play right back to him. Tehran makes it easily. Herrera retired.
And Tehran has walked 1. Gomez, he came around to score. Garza with 2 walks. His first one to Maben has come around to score. So both of the runs scoring on walks early in the inning.
One away for Juan Centeno, left-handed hitting catcher. Facing an all-star from last year, Julio Tehran. He had a terrific year, had a great first half, but finished with 14 wins, and his season ERA last year was 2.89. Maybe most importantly, made 33 starts, 221 innings. That ball's hit sharply, but right to Jace Peterson. Centeno has hit the ball hard twice. Nothing to show for it tonight. 2 outs in the inning.
You have 32 and 23 career record so far for Tehran. He's been rather dependable. Parts of 5 years in the big leagues.
By far his best year last year. Best ERA, most starts, most innings. First time he's crossed over the 200 innings threshold and ended up with 221. He pitched like an all-star. So far this year, if you look at the per 9 innings statistics, his strikeouts are up slightly, striking out about 8 batters per 9 innings, but he's given up a lot more hits. 3 more hits per 9 innings this year compared to last. And he's walking more as well. About a walk and a half more per 9 innings. So if you add the 3 hits and the walk and a half, you're giving up a significant number of base runners, right, compared to his all-star season from a year ago. And that's why the Braves, when they talk about Tehran, they talk about his inconsistent pitching in 2015 so far. Garza swing and a miss. Big hack.
And a lot of that for Tehran came in 3 different starts this year. I mean, he had 3 bad starts where he gave up 15 earned runs and 14 in the 3rd innings. I mean, that'll blow up the ERA a little bit.
And Garza is down on strikes. 3 up, 3 down with a K for Tehran. He's got 5 punch-outs. Garza back to the mound. We're in a 1-1 tie. Wisconsin is brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham, 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham, tell them you mean business.
Well, the Brewers have had something to smile about recently, coming off a series win in Detroit against the heavy-hitting Tigers. Brewers did lose last night, but won the first two in that series. And on the road trip thus far, the Brewers are at 500, 3-3 with 4 to play here in Atlanta. Matt Garza is pitching well. He allowed a first-inning run, had a walk and a hit in that first. He's only allowed 1 walk since. That was to Nick Markakis in the 4th. So Garza and Tehran hooked up in a dandy. Just 3 hits combined in a 1-1 tie. Hamilton Simmons leading the way for Atlanta, takes a strike.
Yeah, and except for that start by Garza in New York, the starting pitching has been pretty good on this road trip so far.
Garza looking for a little redemption after his last start, and he's pitching with purpose here tonight. Kyle Loesch with 2 starts on this road trip. He's pitched well both occasions. Went 8 strong innings against the Mets last Friday, and then last night he went 6 innings with 2 runs allowed. Loesch and Jimmy Nelson have had the 2 best starts of the trip. Nelson went 8 innings, allowing just 1 run against Detroit.
Yeah, he dominated the Tigers, and you don't do that very often.
1-2 pitch. Simmons in the air to right. Braun playing deep. Will hop back a couple of steps for the out. Starting pitching has been a rough go for the Brewers, but it looks like they're starting to round into form here. And of course, that 10 earned run game by Garza skews the numbers a little bit, because overall in May the Brewers starters have actually done fairly well.
And they're keeping the ball in the ballpark much better. I mean, early in the season they were giving up home runs at an alarming rate. A little bit better lately.
A swing and a miss. Good curveball from Garza. Had Bethancourt out in front. It's all got to click together for it to work. The Brewers know they have a ton of work to even think about getting in a pennant race. That's not even in the vocabulary right now. The Brewers are 11 games under 500. Craig Counsell's realistic. He just talks about win the day. Just win today. Just figure out how to play a good, clean game. And we'll look up at the All-Star break and we'll see where we are and go from there.
Yeah.
It's up to the front office to make decisions whether to trade pieces and start to rebuild that system. I mean, I think that's where it's headed most likely, but Counsell would love to flip that script a little bit.
Yep, he's in the evaluation process as well, seeing who's in, who's not.
Slow curve misses inside. Garza trying to keep the gas down here. Has 3 Ks. He's walked 2. And there's a liner to left. Down for a base hit. Bethancourt thinking about second base. The throw from Parra. And the tag not in time. Bethancourt didn't slide. And just in there. Great throw from Gerardo to even have a chance at an out.
Man, amazing that the young man doesn't even slide into second base. 5th double for Bethancourt. Forgot who was out there. One of the better throwing arms in the big leagues when you combine throwing arm and accuracy. He surrounds that baseball, and Bethancourt barely able to get in there. Keep in mind the Brewers do not have a challenge. Not that they would have used it there.
He did a good job keeping his toe on the bag as well. I thought his momentum might take him off the bag. Herrera was hoping for that as well. So it's a 1-out double. That's the first hit for Atlanta since the first inning, and the first extra base hit. Tehran, the pitcher, at the plate.
Bounced out to short his first time up. In the air to right, shallow, long run for Braun. He'll run it down for the out. 2 gone now. Back to the top of the order. Ryan Braun's enjoying all these massive outfields that the Brewers have seen in this road trip. New York and Detroit, now here in Atlanta. He said he loves cutting it loose with all this space. He's still a very fast runner. So you start getting into the smaller outfields like at Miller Park, when you squeeze down a little bit, there's always the threat of a Carlos Gomez collision. So the good thing is you can hear Gomez running. He snorts and grunts, and
yeah, I can hear him from up here.
2 outs.
And you think about the ballparks that the Brewers have played in on this road trip. I mean, all really pitcher-friendly ballparks. But the Brewers continue to hit the home runs.
Yeah, Braun's been the leader in that category with 4 homers in the 6 games played. Chase Peterson with a runner at second.
And when home run hitters hit them, it doesn't matter where they're at. They make good connection. They're going to go no matter what ballpark you're in. Bronny's in one of those stretches right now.
Big batter here for Garza. 1-1 game. We play in the bottom of the 5th. Braves scored their run with a 2-out hit in the first. Peterson takes a strike. 2-1. A 2-sport star in college at McNeese State University in Louisiana. Jace Peterson, 25 years of age, from Lake Charles. And one of the significant pieces that the Braves were looking for when they began trade discussions with San Diego. Justin Upton was the primary piece for the Padres. Braves went the prospect route, and Jace Peterson was high on the list. In the air, left center field. Gomez will track this one down in the big outfield. Garza is out of the inning, puts up another 0, and it's still 1-1. We head to the 6th inning at Turner Field. Carlos Gomez will bat second when we continue. Kind of looks like a little bit like Mr. Met, but he's the Braves version of of homers. He's got a big head.
Mr. Red, too?
Mr. You know, and Mrs. Red. So it's slightly smaller head. Just to analyze the mascot. Anyway, Carsoup.com trivia question. Who are the 3 players in Major League Baseball history play for the Braves and the Brewers in Milwaukee? Hank Aaron would be one of them. Felipe Alou and Phil Roof. Always great to get Phil Roof in the broadcast.
I knew the answer to that. We have that question quite a bit.
You weren't advanced on the
no
trivia today?
I never am.
Phil Roof. Sardinhas leads away for the Brewers. We're in the 6th inning in a 1-1 game. Phil Roof's nickname was Babe. Really? Get it?
Babe Ruth?
Babe Ruth.
Yeah, I get it.
That's the truth. That was his nickname. He played a long time in the big leagues.
Good catcher.
As a swing and a miss, Sardinia strikes out for the first out of the inning. Well, Hank Aaron certainly has his place not only in Milwaukee baseball lore, but hit the most memorable of home runs, number 715 to break Babe Ruth's record, not Babe Ruth's record. That was at Fulton County Stadium, which is just on the other side of the parking lot here at Turner Field.
Hit off Al Downing.
Called by the Hall of Fame broadcaster Milo Hamilton. Hammerin' Hank. Played more games, hit more homers in Milwaukee than he did Atlanta. If you add the numbers up. Barry Bonds has the home run record, I think, across baseball, and especially here in Atlanta and Milwaukee. Hank Aaron is the home run king, and will always be that way for fans of the Hammer. 2 balls and a strike to Carlos Gomez. Wave and a miss. Out of the helmet he goes. 2-2.
Pretty good breaking pitch. Tehran hasn't made a mistake with that pitch yet tonight. Good location, down and away. Carlos tried to pull it. I like the way that helmet falls off, and half the time he's able to catch it.
It's a skill. There's a shot, and that is foul. Just missed the line. Gomez was ready to run. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Man, that was a mistake. That was a hanger up in the zone, and Carlos not able to wait back long enough.
Carlos is wearing all kinds of protection on his elbow and his wrist. Hitting the wrist last night. That gray band on his right wrist.
Yeah, he was all taped up on the plane last night to keep that swelling down.
There's a little padding underneath that to protect the wrist. That was a scary hit by pitch last night, and it hurt him. Down he goes. Tehran goes up the ladder, this time with a fastball. Gomez strikes out. 7-pitch battle there between Gomez and Tehran.
And only 88 miles an hour. Only 2 fastballs. The first one was a fastball, and the last one was a fastball. And a lot of breaking stuff in between. Pretty much the MO for Julio Tehran.
Here's Parra's night at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Had the first hit for the Brewers, a single to right. Brewers have 2 hits. They both came in the 4th. Ryan Braun had a sacrifice fly in the 4th inning to tie it. The Braves run came in the 1st on a Markakis RBI single. So Parra's up there with 2 away, nobody on. Seven strikeouts for Tehran. And he has struck out the last 3 batters he's faced. Well, changeup in there for a strike. That's a pitch he'll use against left-handed hitters.
Yeah, hadn't thrown too many either.
I like the way this guy goes about his business. He's right on the mound, ready to fire as soon as the hitter steps in.
Most of your good ones do that. They don't mess around too much. You have a lot of confidence. You work quickly. No doubt in your mind.
He seems to be in a pretty good groove as well with his catcher, Bethancourt. Parra shows bunt, takes a strike. 2-2, and Parra is having a few words with Siegel, the home plate umpire. Two-two pitch. Got him. Back to the breaking ball. Slow breaking ball that time. Little curve for a strikeout. He strikes out the side. He has 8 punch-outs. We're still tied at 1. Run on 2 hits, no errors for both teams tonight. Been a very well pitched game, Tehran and Matt Garza. Well, check out our Down on the Farm presented by Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Clint Coulter, he is doing very well. First round draft pick a few years back out of high school. He's playing for Brevard County in the Florida State League, and he has 9 homers already, 29 RBIs in 39 games. That's significant because all the ballparks they play in the Florida State League are spring training facilities, major league facilities in spring training, and they're all big, expansive ballparks like this one. So to hit 9 homers in that league already is impressive.
He's starting to come around. It took him a while to get going in pro baseball, but starting to swing the bat as the Brewers hoped he would. Got a ways to go, but on the right path.
Drafted as a catcher. And most feel like Coulter is checking out as a big league player at first base, or at least projecting out that way. We'll see, though. He's got a good bat, and he's swinging the bat well. I think he was 17 when he was drafted out of high school. He was a young high school senior.
Yeah, we had him in the booth when he came to Milwaukee after he got drafted. Big kid.
Yeah, he looked eye to eye with you, that's for sure.
Yes, sir.
Big, strong, and he was 18 years old, right? And he was well put together then. Curious to see him. Maybe he'll get his chance in the next few years. 1-2 the count on Maben. And Garza just missed with that one. Good bolt though, 93 mile an hour with a fastball. Pitch count in great shape for Garza. This is number 76. Maben in the right center. Braun will ease over. Gomez there with him. Braun makes a catch. That's what I'm talking about. He said, I didn't see you. He just heard him.
Yeah,
he caught it. Gomez is flying past him.
That's the thing about these ballparks the Brewers have played in on this road trip. You get a ball up in the air like that, you really don't think at all it's going to go out of the ballpark. And pitchers have to love that feeling. A little bit different at Miller Park. Baseball has a tendency to fly a little bit better.
One away. Freeman, first ball swinging. Lind with a nice play. And he'll flip it to Garza, covering the bag for out number 2. On the first pitch, Freddie Freeman bounces out. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Now we got baseball this weekend. Saturday, it's MLB on Fox Sports 1. Brewers Braves at 2:30 Central. First pitch just after 3 o'clock. And then at 6 o'clock, you can turn over to Baseball Night in America on Fox. Cardinals Royals will be in this market. Coverage begins at 2:30 on Fox Sports 1, and then the nightcap on Fox. Your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox and Fox Sports 1. Here's Nick Markakis, 2 outs in the 6th. Drove in the only Braves run with a hit in the first inning. One of the 2 Atlanta hits. One of Buck Showalter's favorite players right here, Nick Markakis. They hated to lose him in Baltimore.
I had neck surgery during the offseason, and one of the reasons why his power numbers are down. Has not hit a home run yet. You figure that's going to turn around at some point.
The Braves signed him knowing that he was going to have to go through the rehab of the neck surgery. They signed him to a 4-year, $44 million contract. That gives you an idea where Carlos Gomez is trending, by the way.
Yeah, that's not even that much these days.
Now, Gomez has a big payday awaiting him. The Brewers have him under contract for next season. He signed a club-friendly contract as it looks right now, but at the time it was a major risk to sign Gomez. I remember a lot of ridicule around baseball for that contract, but that deal that Gomez signed totally changed his approach as Markakis grounds out, and Garza's rolling in Atlanta. 3 up, 3 down. He's pitching well tonight. All tied at 1 through 6.
Tied at 1, and last night Ryan Braun hit his 10th home run of the season and his 4th of the season. You see our Powerball home run count again, his 10th of the season for Braun. And Ryan said before the game tonight he feels like he's working well with his swing, chasing some bad habits, also chasing some poor muscle memory he had from the thumb injury. And while manager Craig Counsell said that, yes, finally being healthy from the thumb is one reason for Braun's success at the plate here lately, it's also been his pitch selection, he said, has much improved. He said you could see it over the homestand. He was starting to lay off of pitches, and he said that any time that Braun gets balls in the zone and he's not chasing, that usually leads to good results. So he said, it's starting to feel like a broken record how much he's talking about Braun, how well he's playing, but again, the results are there. He's had 4 home runs and 10 RBIs on this road trip.
And every bit of that is because he's feeling healthy. He's feeling strong again. His bat is quick. And last year, he was really drifting at the baseball, starting his bat early, knowing he couldn't get to that pitch inside.
Now Braun swings at this one, got that a little on the label, and he'll fly out to left. Just missed it a touch.
Yeah, and when you start the bat a little bit earlier than you normally do, you're going to swing at pitches out of the zone. Right now, Braun's waiting back. He's much more selective at the plate. It all goes back to that thumb being healthy again.
He's a great study as well, and it's a great lesson for all athletes, especially young athletes and baseball players. As much failure as there is in the game of baseball, Braun's approach, he reminds me a lot of PGA Tour players I used to cover. Guys with that much failure, when things are going bad, there are specific reasons that he'll point out, like what he was telling Sophia. I've got some poor muscle memory I have to show. I mean, it gets into real deep sports psychology there, and it allows you to free up. At the end of the day, you can always blame your caddy. As Lynn pops it up, that's in foul territory for the second out. 2 quick outs here in the 7th inning.
Hey, mark your calendars for Country Night at Miller Park on Friday, May 29th. That's coming up, by the way. Joe Nichols is going to be at Miller Park after the Brewers Diamondbacks game, and he'll perform a free post-game concert featuring all of his greatest hits, Sunny and 75, and yeah. For tickets, visit Brewers.com today. He says yeah a little bit differently than that. He sings it.
How does he sing it?
I'm not doing that.
Because when you say it, it kind of sounds like he has a bunch of songs, and yeah.
That's the name of the song.
I don't think your heart's into it.
It's going to be fun. I'm sticking around.
Oh yeah? You going to hang out?
Absolutely.
You're supposed to say yeah. I say, you going to hang around? And you say,
absolutely. I knew where you were going. I'm getting on to you. I kind of missed you for a month or so, and
sneak in those jabs.
I'm up to your tricks. I got to concentrate a little bit more. Kind of let my guard down for a month with Matt LePay.
I know. I need to lighten up. Take it easy on you. Here's a 2-1. It's all a mental warfare all day long. See, people think I mean to you on the air, but if they only knew the dominant presence that you are throughout the day with all of us.
I wouldn't go that far now.
The king bee. Here's a 3-1, and Aramis fly ball to Markakis, and these two pitchers keep rolling along in Atlanta. Another 3-up, 3-down inning for Tehran. He's retired 10 in a row. Tonight, courtesy of Marshfield Clinic, Matt Garza, after giving up a first inning run, he has put the hammer down on the Atlanta Braves. He is pitching well and matching Tehran pitch for pitch tonight in a 1-1 game.
Yeah, 2 over the minimum since the first inning. A walk and a base hit after a stolen base by Maven, the only blemish on Garza's line tonight. Keeping the ball down, mixing it up nicely. Good turnaround from his previous start in New York.
Garza, 6 innings, giving up just the 1 run, which came in the first, has a couple of walks. The first walk scored, and 3 strikeouts. First ball swinging, Johnny Gomes, base hit. A leadoff single for Atlanta. Gomes' first hit of the night. And just the 3rd for the Braves. Had 2 singles and a double tonight. And that'll bring up Alberto Callaspo now.
He's 0 for 2. If the Braves are going to drop down a bunt here, Callaspo has been struggling at the plate.
And Callaspo delivers a base hit. So back-to-back swings, 2 pitches into this inning, and Garza is in trouble. 2 on, nobody out. Aggressive approach.
Yeah, both pitches getting a lot of the plate, and the Braves able to center on both. And the bottom of the order, bottom half of the order is starting to get something going here in the 7th. To see that location, Centeno wanted it away, ended up right down the middle.
The Braves have a very high batting average on first pitches this season. You see Will Smith loosening, the Atlanta native. On first pitches, Braves batters are hitting .404. That's in the air, and it's down. Got a chance here to out at second base. Ramirez very calmly surveyed the scene out there and does get an out at second, which keeps the Brewers in a double play option here. That was quite a play by Aramis Ramirez.
Yeah, realizing that his only play was going to be at second base. There was nobody at third. Check out Garza. I thought he had a chance to catch his baseball. Falls off toward first just a little bit, but a good play, good anticipation by Aramis Ramirez to be able to get the out. Well, just getting out on the bunt play. That's all you can ask for, and they did.
There's a lot of chaos out there when you have a play like that. Base runners everywhere. And Ramirez gets the out, keeps the Brewers in a double play position. And here is Christian Bethancourt now, who doubled in the 5th. So 3 pitches into this inning, we have an out and runners at the corners.
And if nothing else, you chase Tehran out of the ball game. Had a pinch hitter on deck.
Braves have a pinch hitter in place. Todd Cunningham is on deck. Bethancourt had a double in the 5th that snapped an 0 for 12 run at the plate. He had been really struggling with the bat. 3 balls, no strikes. Pitcher spot due next.
Might see Will Smith in this game should Bethancourt reach here.
Three and 1 to count. Brewers looking to turn 2. And a ground ball. Oh, under the glove of Herrera. In to score is Gomes. Over to third goes Simmons. The Brewers had a chance. Herrera could not glove it. And the Braves take a 2-1 lead.
And it looks like he overshot it just a little bit. Man, so close to perhaps turning a double play. It sneaks under the glove. Let's see. He shaded up the middle in double play depth. And he actually overslid. He dove for it. Went by the baseball, under the glove, and into center field.
Probably a play he'd tell you he should have made. And that's going to force Craig Counsell to make a move here. 2-1 to score. The Braves have taken the lead in this 7th inning. Garza is coming out. It's going to be a double switch. Ramirez made the last out, and I think Counsell is going to remove Ramirez from the game, so you lose a big bat here in the 7th inning. No guarantee his spot would come up again. Herrera's going to slide over to third base, and Hector Gomez will enter as Counsell makes a call to the bullpen. So Will Smith is coming in. The Brewers make a double switch. 1 out, a run is in, 2 men are on. We'll take a timeout.
Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly.
2-1, Atlanta has taken the lead. A reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. Garza and Ramirez will exit the game. Herrera goes to third. Hector Gomez is the new second baseman. And the new pitcher is Will Smith, who grew up in this Atlanta area. Grew up a die-hard Braves fan. Pedro Siriaco will bat for the Braves. Smith with runners at the corners, 1 man out.
Yeah, 4 of the next 5 hitters for the Atlanta Braves are left-handed. Only Cameron Maben, the only right-hander in that group, did not pitch in Detroit. They don't have many left-handed hitters. But he's had 3 days off. Last pitched on Sunday against the Mets.
Does close the book on Julio Teheran, who goes 7 innings, just 1 run. Strikes out 8, a season high. Now he's in the lead. Swing and a miss at that nasty breaking ball from Smith. That's the equalizer for left-handed hitters, but it can be as devastating to right-handed batters as well.
You saw the graphic, much better against right-handers.
Got a new pitcher and a pinch hitter, and a big spot in this game with the Brewers down a run now. Swing and a miss. Same pitch, same result. 0-2 the count. Will Smith has a big pass list tonight. A lot of friends and family in the ballpark. It's from Noonan, Georgia, just a little south of Atlanta.
Throw another one down there.
No balls, 2 strikes, and he did. Did it hit him? Oh goodness, it did. It grazed him on an 0-2 pitch. Smith hits a batter to load the bases.
Well, he did try and spike that slider, but got a piece, ever so little of a piece of Siriaco on the foot. Let's see if it bounces and hits him. It's still a hit batter. Yep, got him on the leg. That's right. Yep.
Well, that was the way out of the inning. Smith had him 0-2, and then a left-handed hitter coming up.
Just grazed the shin.
The best way to get hit. Doesn't even hurt, and you get rescued from an 0-2 count. Now the bases are full. Chase Peterson cuts and misses. Steady diet of breaking balls from Smith, 4 in a row.
I have a feeling that Will Smith's going to make up for those 3 days off in Detroit with, you know, the left-handed bats in his Atlanta Braves lineup.
Not sure what this is all about. Freddie Gonzalez to the home plate umpire, Chris Siegel, and now he's going to bring in the crew chief, Jim Joyce. This is a curious development here.
The home plate umpire is asking Jim Joyce something.
And Jim Joyce is directing his attention to Will Smith. Checking his glove, and he's been thrown out. Will Smith has been ejected. A foreign substance on the glove. Counsel wants to come out for an explanation.
Well, when it's a little bit cool, windy like it is tonight, I mean, pitchers will sometimes get some pine tar and use it. It is illegal, but, you know, it happens all the time. And Freddie Gonzalez goes out there and asks the umpires to check it out, and it didn't take Jim Joyce long to throw him out.
Remember the World Series, the 06 World Series with Detroit and St. Louis, and Kenny Rogers with a foreign substance on his hat. And then, of course, maybe the most notable recently was Michael Pineda of the Yankees a couple of years ago, had it on his neck. Yeah, right there on his arm. I thought it was on his glove, but you're right. Jim Joyce went right to the wrist, felt the foreign substance, and that's an automatic ejection.
That's a lonely feeling when you know you're going to get busted. And Freddie Gonzalez, not sure what he saw, but well, he got him.
Well, I guess the next layer of questioning is, for all of those Atlanta pitchers, I mean, thanks a lot.
It's very common. I mean, it really is very common. I hate to say that, but it is, and it's one of those things that a lot of times gets kind of brushed under the carpet, but not with Freddie Gonzalez. Not sure if somebody saw it or they saw Will Smith go to it or what.
Yeah, once the umpire's notified and he checks it, he's got no choice.
Right.
Will Smith, you can't do it. A lot of pitchers may do it, but it's as plain as day for everybody to see, and it was an easy call for Jim Joyce.
It's only illegal when you get caught, right?
Well, the Brewers now are in a tough spot. They are trailing. It's an 0-1 count And you got Kotz, the left-hander. Blazek is the right-hander. I'm sure
he's waiting for Kotz to get ready, right?
Yeah, I'm sure Counsell is going to go with the matchup here, lefty-lefty matchup, but he'll get as much time as he needs. It is interesting they're not bringing him out to the.
Well, that's normally what they make him do. I mean, they make him come out on the field and get loose out on the field of play, but for whatever reason, Craig Counsell has not identified who he wants yet. Not sure what the delay is. They're looking in the dugout for something. And they're telling him he's got to bring him out here to warm him up.
Yeah, that's, umpires by rule have to keep an eye on a pitcher warming up. So if there's an injury, or in this case an ejection, typically the reliever has to warm up on the game mound.
Man, get that pine tar on the fingers, and when you put it on the baseball, you get a better grip, particularly when it's cold out and windy. Kind of the same reason that hitters use it. You get good contact with the bat, the bat doesn't slip.
And for pitchers, it is illegal. Smith is gone. We'll take a break. Kotz will continue to warm up. Brewers in a mess, a sticky mess. Rewind. Well, Matt Garza had it going. He did give up a first inning run. Ryan Braun was able to tie the game in the fourth inning with a sac fly. Maven made the catch and threw out a runner at second. And then it was a base hit and an RBI to give the Braves the lead again. Off the bat of Christian Bethancourt. Freddie Gonzalez noticing something on the pitching arm of Will Smith, or on the glove hand, I should say. And the crew chief, Jim Joyce, went over, checked it out, and Smith thrown out of the game. A foreign substance on his wrist of his glove hand. And there are the rules that you stick by, and then there are the unwritten rules. And there are unwritten rules that pitchers from both sides typically use a little something to get a better grip when it's cool and windy out like it is tonight in Atlanta. But Freddie Gonzalez is planted straight, which he has every right to do. The Brewers lose Smith, and Neil Kotz, getting as much time as he needs to get loose, will now enter this game in an 0-1 count with the bases loaded full of Braves. And the left-handed hitting Jace Peterson at the plate.
Man, now Kotz has a pitch since Saturday against the Mets. Gave up 3 runs and a couple of innings of work. Gave up a couple of home runs. One to Curtis Granderson, a left-handed batter. And coming in a bind here with 1 out and the bases loaded.
Peterson has good speed. Tough guy to double up. I wouldn't expect many comments from Craig Counsell or Will Smith after this game on this matter. That's one Brewers better play it close to the vest, because there is a potential suspension involved in this scenario.
Ordinarily, you do get suspended if you use a foreign substance, and we'll see what happens with Smith. But rules are rules.
Yep. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that one's into left center field. Coming in, Gomez. He can't get it. 1 run will score. That's Simmons. They'll hold a 2nd run from scoring. Gomez looked like he was there, but might have just misjudged it or lost it in the lights. I'm not sure which. It's going to be an RBI for Jace Peterson, and now it's 3-1 Atlanta.
Yeah, this is an inning that can very quickly get away from the Brewers. They've already given up a couple of runs. Bases are still loaded. And just serving it out there, playing straight away. They just missed it. I think he got there, just missed it. Or just barely out of his reach. And a run scored, a single, and the bases are still loaded, and Kotz is gone.
Well, and now Counsell back to the pen. An ugly inning. Symbolic of the season. 3-1. The Braves have the lead, still with the bases full. And in comes Blazek. We'll take a break. That has gotten away from him. Still a 3-1 game, but the Braves with the bases loaded and 1 out, and now it'll be Michael Blazek, who is the 4th pitcher of the inning.
And the Brewers now without any left-handers out in that bullpen, with Freeman and Markakis coming up. And Blazek pitched in last night's ball game and stranded an inherited base runner in the 8th inning. He struck out a batter, walked a batter in a 3rd of an inning of work. And needs to get a ground ball in the worst way here.
Cameron Maybin will bat. Garza started the inning. Will Smith hit a batter and then was ejected for having a foreign substance. Kotz gives up a hit on a play that should have been made by Gomez. And now Blazek will face Maybin. Maybin elevated to the 2 spot in the batting order the last 6 games, and it has paid off for Fredi Gonzalez. He is 7 for 18 in that stretch. He walked, stole a base, scored a run in the 1st inning. He's made a great throw tonight, cutting down Parra at second base, a key play in the 4th inning. 2-1. Maybin can fly, so to turn him up. He's going to have to hit one right at an infielder.
Yeah, one hopper right at somebody.
Three balls and a strike, nowhere to put him. That Will Smith ejection just set Craig Counsell's plan on its ear. He had it kind of where he wanted. He had Smith in the game, his big lefty. Really wasn't thinking about anybody else. That is going to be a much discussed topic tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah,
guarantee that. Not much he can say about it.
Yeah, if Smith was still in the ball game, they wouldn't have to go to Kotz and Blazek. So essentially, it burned 2 extra pitchers because Smith gets thrown out.
And Smith started by hitting a batter on an 0-2 pitch. There's a shot, base hit, Maven in the center field, and 2 runs will score for Atlanta. They have busted it open here.
Well, big innings late in games have gotten the Brewers the last couple of nights.
2 RBI single for Cameron Maven. Makes it 5-1 Atlanta. That is our Jimmy John's delivery of the game.
Well, Blazek couldn't walk him and nowhere to put him, and right down the middle, and Maven able to hit it hard into center field. Good speed out there on the bases, and 2 come in.
Here's Freddie Freeman. Broken bat, falling fast. Down the hill. Peterson around third. He's coming home. The throw to the plate is late. Another runner's in. 6-1. Freeman with an RBI single.
They just can't get themselves out of these big innings the last couple of nights. Last night it was Jonathan Broxton in Detroit. In the 8th inning, there's a curveball that stayed up in the zone. Freeman jammed himself, but it dumps it in front of Braun and out of the reach of Gomez. Peterson able to score.
What a disaster for the Brewers. 5 runs in. 6-1 Atlanta. Markakis at the plate, and he's late on the fastball. He's got him 0-2 now. One of the runs, or 2 of the runs, belong to Smith. Garza giving up 4. Smith allowing 1 earned run, and Kotz 1 earned run. Markakis down the left field line. That is fair. Maven scores. Freeman around third. He'll be held there. RBI double for Markakis. No end in sight here in this 7th inning. 6 runs have scored. It's 7-1.
7 hits. 7 hits for the Braves in the 7th, and the Brewers just can't get out of this mess. That wasn't a bad pitch, a slider that was down and away, and look at Markakis go down and get it and dump it inside that left field line by about a foot. And the beat goes on. Well, the Brewers have already on this road trip given up a 10-run inning. This is a 6-run already, 7th inning.
Well, here's Johnny Gomes, 10th batter of the inning. Gomes started this inning with a single off Garza.
The only out in the inning was a bunt. Simmons tried to bunt, popped it up. That's the only out.
Another inning to forget. And this is going to be an inning with some repercussions for Will Smith, who was caught with a foreign substance and ejected. Bouncing ball. Good play over there by Gomez. And the throw is off the Braves dugout. And just an absolute disaster for the Brewers here. Man, oh man. No other way to describe it. Just an awful display in the 7th inning. Still just 1 out. Another run scores. It is 8-1 Atlanta.
Rick Kranich just going out to try and settle down his pitcher. Everything is right except this. Just tried to goose it over there, and well, when you do that, that's a lot of times what happens. You just can't put it where you want it. Off the dugout, and another run in, and still only 1 out.
So Hector Gomez with the error. And here is Callaspo batting for the 2nd time. He singled earlier in this inning, and he swings at the first pitch again. Gomez and Braun converge. Carlos will make the catch, and they bluff at third. Good throw from Carlos Gomez. 2nd out of the inning. Markakis stays put. Brewers gave up 3 in the bottom of the 8th last night to lose 5-2. Went into that inning tied at 2 in Detroit. This was a 1-1 game entering this bottom of the 7th. 7 runs have scored. Braves have 8 runs on 9 hits. Simmons to Gomez, and that will retire the side. That's one of the worst innings of the year on a lot of fronts. 8-1, we head to the 8th.
Now, after they went into the bottom of the 7th, tied at 1. Hey, tonight's time of the game winner. Couldn't have come at a better time, actually. Vets Bar and Lounge in Trempealeau, Wisconsin. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Sounds like a pretty good spot to be right about now.
That's what I said. Good time for it.
Siriaco will stay in. He'll play third base. He had a pinch hit appearance, was hit by a pitch, and he will continue on at third. Callaspo is out, and the new pitcher rock is Brandon Kenneth.
I see his numbers pretty good. You know, one of those middle to late relief guys. Yeah, 2-0 record, 16th appearance, and an earned run average just a bit over 2. And look at the opponent batting average. My goodness. .051. So nobody's really doing much against this right-hander.
Elian Herrera will lead off for the Brewers. Julio Teheran finished his start by retiring the last 10 batters he faced. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run it was earned. That Braun sac fly. And Herrera into left field. That'll be run down by Gomes. 1 pitch and 1 out here in the 8th. 83 pitches for Teheran. Freddie Gonzalez played the card though and pinch hit for him. And played another card, noticing something on the wrist of Will Smith, and when it was all said and done, 7 runs it scored.
And it completely rattled that Brewers bullpen.
No doubt.
Had to get up quickly. Kotz came in, gave up a base hit. Blazek then came in, and things somewhat unraveled.
Centeno. Centeno's 0 for 2 despite hitting the ball sharply twice tonight. It's got to be as embarrassing as it is for Will Smith. It has to be even more so here in Atlanta, his hometown, and against his hometown team, and to have that kind of a moment exposed, and to really just to have that substance so wide open for everybody to see is probably the real story.
And there was a lot of it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing, and not just a spot. There was a lot of it, and Freddie Gonzalez, he saw it and he got thrown out because of it.
Smith had an incident last year, had an outing last year that was kind of a quirky event. There was a lot of discussion. I remember it was a replay scenario, and there was a lot of discussion if a reliever could come in or not. And Smith had to be forced in the game, but they wouldn't let him throw any warm-up pitches.
They gave him 7, right?
Right. And then they had a review, and he ended up sitting on the mound for another 5 minutes after that. He pitched poorly in that game, but
yeah, things have not gone very well for Will here in Atlanta.
Right. Back-to-back years. This one this year by his own doing. Hector Gomez now. Centeno draws the walk. It's been one of those years so far. The Brewers just can't get out of the headlines for the wrong reason. Hopefully things are going to turn around. They were playing good baseball in Detroit. I thought there was a lot of good mojo going with the Brew Crew after winning those first 2 games. And even last night's game was very well played until the end. And obviously the Castellanos 3 RBI triple that was the decisive hit ruined the night, but it was a good game all the way around until that point.
Just kind of everybody got a little bit startled and not able to get out of their own way in this inning. It all started with that Smith getting thrown out. The bullpen was getting ready quickly, and Kotz couldn't get an out. And I mean, had Smith been able to stay in the game and didn't have that happen, it would have been a 1-pitcher inning. I mean, Will Smith very good at getting lefties, getting righties, and that's the way it goes.
And it started for him when he hit Siriaco on an 0-2 pitch.
Well, it'd be interesting to hear if Freddie Gonzalez is in fact going to divulge how he found out or how he saw it, because you really can't see anything like that from the dugout.
Right.
I mean, it's something that Will Smith did apparently. You got coaches on in those benches, on those dugouts. They're looking for anything that they can see to get an edge. And it paid off tonight.
Well, it's no secret. I mean, you made a good point last inning. It's no secret that pitchers will use something to help get a better grip. A lot of pitchers, when it gets warm out, remember the situation in Boston with Clay Buchholz and sunscreen, which gets a little tacky, I guess, and you're trying to get a better grip. There's no secret that happens. What is debatable here is how Freddie Gonzalez called him out on it as Gomez strikes out, but he called him out because it was so obvious to everybody. And again, it reminds me a lot of what happened to Michael Pineda a couple of years back with the Yankees. He had the pine tar on his neck. And in that situation, it was the same. It was just plain as day for everybody to see. I think every pitcher I've ever talked to talks about, aiding themselves with a grip every now and then, but it's kind of understood in the game. But not when it's just out there like that.
Right.
You have to say something at that point. So what's the idea, Rock? You go to the wrist to get
it on
tackiness on your index finger,
or index finger and your middle finger, and you get a better grip on a baseball. And especially when the weather's like this, a little bit cool. The skin kind of smooths out. The baseball a little bit slicker. And when you have a little bit of a sticky substance, pine tar, you get a better grip, get a better spin on your breaking ball.
Just makes me think of like Gaylord Perry. His version was the opposite.
Spitters.
Right? He wanted to have it slick.
And those drop. They drop dramatically because your fingers leave the baseball first. So you get a bit of a different tumble on the baseball.
Well, the next wave for Will Smith is to await a suspension, because Pineda, with the foreign substance on his neck, he got a 10-game suspension last year.
Right.
And I would imagine
it's going to be
coming
something
for Smith.
It's going to be something close.
Two balls, two strikes. So Sardinius strikes out, inning over, a scoreless 8 by Kenneth. 8-1 Braves. We head to the home 8 in Atlanta. no question on our Brewers Live postgame. Craig Counsell's got a lot to think about. Just take it over as manager. A 7-run seventh makes it 8-1. We head to the bottom of the eighth. Here is Brandon Kinsler. He's trying to get back on track himself, and Counsell using this opportunity to try to help him do that. He's got Christian Bethancourt leading off. The Braves catchers had a good night tonight. Had a double in the fifth, had an RBI single in the seventh.
Yep, got called up on May 8th from Colorado Springs. Last pitched on Saturday against the Mets. An inning and 2/3, 3 hits, and gave up a run. Also struck out a couple of batters. He came in when Matt Garza was taken out in the middle of that 4th inning.
This starts a 4-game series here in Atlanta. And the Brewers trying to make it a winning road trip. A loss tonight. And the Brewers will go 3-4. There's a shot. That's fair. Boy, this guy's having a night. Christian Bethancourt with an extra base hit. He's in with another double, his second double of the night. 3 hits in his last 3 plate appearances. He had gone 0 for 12 leading up to his first double. The 10th Atlanta hit.
Yeah, Kinsler has been having a rough time of it. That pitch not even on the plate, but the velocity down for Brandon, and that one just inside the left field line for a leadoff double. It's all about velocity or lack thereof for Kinsler as of late since he's come up. Just can't find that big fastball like he had a couple of years ago.
So a leadoff double. Career high for Bethancourt with 3 hits tonight. Just getting his big league career going. Pedro Siriaco, who pinch hit and then stayed in the game, batting for the 2nd time. Braves have had a lot of success with runners in scoring position. 6 for 13, most of that coming in the 7th inning. This was an excellent game until the 7th.
Yeah, they had 5 hits with men in scoring position in that 7th inning alone.
And then Will Smith ejected, putting the cloud on the inning for the Brewers, and just couldn't get out of it. Kotz and Blazek, the hits just kept coming. 7 runs on 7 hits. Brewers decided to keep an 8-man bullpen after their series in Detroit. There was some talk that they might make a move with a pitcher and then bring a position player back. With Smith facing a suspension, there's certainly going to be a move to be made as Siriaco strikes out, 1 away here in the 9th inning.
And one of your better pitchers too.
Here's Jace Peterson. Peterson was the man at the plate when Freddie Gonzalez came out to have Smith looked at, and it paid off. Peterson had a hit, although I'm sure Carlos Gomez would tell you that was a ball he should have caught.
I think what he was doing, he was trying to get himself in position to make a throw to home plate, which was probably not going to happen anyway, but I think that's why he ended up missing it. Trying to think about the throw before he had the baseball in his glove.
Ball and a strike on Peterson. Braves are getting a good look at him. He can play the 3 infield positions, third, short, and second. And a wave and a miss. 1-2 the count. When the Braves and the Padres first made the trade, the second trade, or the first trade I should say, the Justin Upton deal, I think there was a lot of shock that why would the Braves give up a closer like Craig Kimbrell? That's a lot to give up. But then once you started to analyze the deal a little bit and start looking at some of the players that Atlanta got in return, they really did get a good haul from San Diego, who had a ton of prospects. Jace Peterson was one of them. He's one of the guys at the top of the list for the returning prospects, or in return for the trade. But anytime you trade a guy like Kimbrell, you're expecting
not to win, right?
There's John Hart.
You're not expecting to contend if you're giving away one of the best closers in the game.
Now the Padres, with their new general manager A.J. Preller, they went out and acquired Matt Kemp, acquired Will Myers, both Uptons in separate trades. Jace Peterson came in the Justin Upton deal. Cameron Maybin and company came in the Melvin Upton deal. And so they've been able to clear some contracts, and all of a sudden here they are, a game under 500 with a pretty good starting pitching staff. It's be a curious plan here for Atlanta, especially if they stay in striking distance. You know, do you then try to make a run at it this year? I was a little surprised how public the Braves were about rebuilding. You know, at the beginning of the year, rebuilding, maybe looking ahead to 2016 or 17.
Be honest with the fan base, right? They're not stupid.
Well, I bring all this up because the Brewers are trending that direction themselves, and if you're not going to be able to get back into any semblance of a race, and you're kind of running out of time to figure that out. I know everybody's hoping for a hot streak from Doug Melvin on down, but if that doesn't come soon, then you have to start thinking about that as well. Have to. And one of the reasons Craig Counsell, I'm sure, was brought into the mix is because of his extensive knowledge of the Brewers system and the minor league players. But we'll see. Atlanta has a new stadium in the works. Maybin out to short. Sardinez to second for one, and not in time over at first. Would have ended the inning. Bethancourt blocked the vision of the Brewers shortstop for a moment. Maybin just too fast.
And that throwing on for Hector Gomez made that one close. Well, you can see that, you know, the runner trying to disrupt the concentration of Sardinez. He'd have nothing to do with it, but you can see Maybin able to beat it at first base.
Yeah, good call. So 2 outs. And here is Freddie Freeman.
I'm sure that the Brewers, Doug Melvin and the Brain Trust back in Milwaukee, making a lot of decisions, thinking about a lot of things, and I imagine making some phone calls, figuring out what they want to do, what the potentials are out there.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think when you start, when we talk about it a lot, and we start looking down at the roster and looking at the lineup, and there are a lot of players that the Brewers have that are on the list to acquire and could be major players in a pennant race, and that kind of spins around and it makes you wonder why the Brewers aren't playing better. Why are they succeeding?
Why are they in the spot they're in, right?
Just doesn't make sense.
They do have a good roster. It's just guys have not been able to live up to expectations.
And that's going to skip away from Centeno, and another run scores. So a run in on a wild pitch. This one can't in fast enough. 9-1. Two balls, two strikes on Freeman. Struggles continue for Brandon Kinsler. Well, we'll do it again tomorrow night, partner. Hopefully hit the reset button. Yeah. Willie Peralta tomorrow.
It was a good game. I mean, inning ago was 1-1. It's the way it happens sometimes. It happens quickly, and it's happened a couple of times on this road trip.
The Brewers have been a victim of some big innings. Freeman, base hit, going to score another run. Freddie Freeman grinding as always at the plate. And delivers with an RBI single, his second hit. His second RBI. He's 2 for 5 tonight. 10-1 Atlanta.
That's how you hit 300. You never give up bats away, no matter what the score or what the situation is. And good piece of hitting, serving that out into center field. Looked like something away, a breaking ball, but didn't try and pull it, and lined it into center.
Markakis drove in the first Braves run in the first inning. Well, a lot of pitches here for Brandon Kinsler. Oh, and 2 to count on Markakis. Braves swept Miami, coming in here having won 4 of their last 5. They split a 2-game series against Tampa Bay that ended last night. A win tonight, 3 more outs. They are back to 500. Braves would go to 20-20. First time they've been at 500 since May 6th. They slipped under earlier in the month. You look at that National League East. Washington has now taken over first place. Nationals leapfrog the New York Mets. Washington's won 5 in a row. Big bouncer. Lynn's got it. Kinsler a little late. And bang bang at first. And the inning is over. We head to the 9th. The Brewers trail 10-1. Need 9 to tie. Might as well get 10. By Chevrolet. Turner Field, Atlanta. It's 10-1. We go to the top of the 9th inning. And the Braves will have a new pitcher. Trevor Cahill is on to work.
And Cahill having a rough time of it. 10th appearance, an 0-3 record, earned run average over 7. On the batting average at 300. Getting some work. Freddie Gonzalez hoping that he's going to be able to put this one away tonight. Cahill last pitched on the 19th against Tampa Bay. Pitched 2 scoreless innings.
Carlos Gomez will lead off. Top of the order for the Brewers. Gomez looking for his first hit. He did walk and score in the 4th inning. This game unraveled for the Brewers in the 7th. And it really started to unravel with Will Smith being ejected, a foreign substance on his right arm, his right wrist, which is his non-pitching wrist, trying to get a little extra stick and tackiness on the baseball. Freddie Gonzalez spotted it. Jim Joyce, the crew chief, went over to look at it, and it was a quick ejection.
Took 2 seconds.
Pretty easy black and white call right there. And then Craig Counsell got into panic mode with the bullpen. You're cruising along. You got Smith on the mound. You feel good about his presence on the mound in that kind of game. The Braves had taken the lead. And he comes on, and now Counsell's got to scramble to get somebody loose. It was Kotz first, and then Michael Blazek. And when it was all said and done, the Braves scored 7 runs on 7 hits. Unlikely there'll be anything from Major League Baseball tonight. I'm sure we'll hear something, I would guess, tomorrow, being
next couple of days
Friday.
You can lay down a suspension. You know that's coming.
And a precedent holds, as we saw last year. Michael Pineda was suspended 10 games for a very similar incident last season. Gomez is out, 1 away here in the 9th. Well, baseball tomorrow here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. We're on the air at 6 p.m. Central. And it'll be Willie Peralta against Alex Wood. The nasty left-hander Wood. Peralta with his electrifying stuff, looking for a bounce-back start after his outing in New York against the Mets last Sunday.
Yeah, 5 runs in 5 innings, 9 hits. Just seemed a little out of sorts in that start at New York. Hopefully things correct themselves tomorrow night.
Cahill throwing well, throwing hard tonight. Gets ahead of Parra quickly, 0-2. And there are 2 outs now. Julio Teheran, Will Smith's going to be the story tonight, but Julio Teheran was fantastic in his 7 innings. Had 8 strikeouts, which matches, or rather is a season high, I beg your pardon. Gave up just 2 hits and 1 run to pick up his 4th win. Continues his excellent work against the Brewers in his 4 starts. Got an ERA under 1.5 in his career. And Garza had it going pretty well through 6 innings. He had only given up 1 run on 2 hits through 6 innings.
Yep, and he's going to end up going 0-4 in his career against the Atlanta Braves.
Braun bounces to Freeman, and that is that. And there are a whole lot of headlines that we will be awaiting for tonight. The Braves win, but Will Smith is going to be story A all over. And we'll have a full report. Sophia's down there. Whatever the Brewers have to say about this one, I wouldn't imagine there'd be much at all, as the Brewers drop the opener. Stay tuned. Brewers Live coming up right now. Marnie Gellner standing by in our Fox Sports Wisconsin studio. Marnie, take it away.